Yeah. So, Rishi Dayananda Saraswati, if you see all these presentations, people will think that I belong to an Arya Samaj because I am again and again bringing Rishi Dayananda Saraswati into limelight. I like to tell my viewers, Rishi Dayananda Saraswati is one person who is most hated in the society, and the only reason was because he wanted Hindus to interpret the mantras in a scientific way by following the ancient sages and rishis, which we have already seen the methodology. He wanted people to take Nigantu, Niru, go into the actual original scriptures, read all the philosophies, and then interpret the Vedic mantras. But there is a big class of Brahmins or priests, that system in India, which doesn't want to do that. Because over a span of 1,000 or 2,000 years, they have constructed big temples. They have created gods out of Lokic Sanskrit by using the proper nouns. And now people are worshipping those gods by considering that those gods are going to save them. They are offering food to the god. Can you imagine a god which is omniscient, all-powerful? Will he take a food, a laddu from me every evening? But if you ask our brothers and sisters, they think actually that God will come in the night and he's going to eat that laddu. See, something which doesn't have a body, which is actually inside the laddu. How and why he will eat? He is already inside the laddu also. Anyway, we will come back to that. Let's see why Rishi Dayananda is a Dayananda. You can consider me, I am marketing this guy because I am not able to find more intellectual person in the history of all the religions across the planet in last 3,000 years. I have studied Japanese monks, I have studied about Buddhist monks, I have studied about some of the people in China, I have studied about Western spiritual people, Asian and Africa also, South America. I couldn't find one person who can fulfill your intellectual curiosity. So in case viewers, if you are really hungry and if you want to know the truth about this universe, if you want to know what God is, what soul is, and what primordial matter is, continue with us in this journey. Very soon, one of our scholars is going to explain all these concepts. By this time, you might have got the idea. Now let's see about a person who was rejected by Hindu society. Unknowingly, the society doesn't know that they have rejected themselves by rejecting this guy. And that is one of the reasons why Hindu society is in such a state. We will see who was Dayananda Saraswati and why he is not accepted by Hindu society. Swami Dayananda employed the scientific method of interpretation based on Nirukt school throughout the Vedic exegesis. His teachings are based on one God as mentioned in Vedas, one God mentioned by many names. In order that no doubt may be left concerning the monotheistic worship of ancient Aryas, we quote from Nirukt. So imagine, friends, Hinduism is the first religion where the God is truly one. There is no second, third, fourth or fifth God. So if our Western friends are watching this presentation or listening to this in any country, Hinduism is the first religion with one God. There is no other God except one. We say Ekam Sat Vipra Bahuda Vadanti, which means the God is one, known by many names. Nirukt 7.4. One supreme soul is variously praised on account of his omnipotence. Other devtas are but pratagyas, that is various manifestations of this one supreme soul. From this, it is quite clear that Dayananda's interpretation of the Vedas was based on etymological method, has a sound support of Yaska and Brahmanas. It will be reasonable if few citations from the Vedas themselves are given below in support of the theory that there was monotheism, that is worship of one Lord. It will clearly justify Dayananda's stand. Already I mentioned Ekam Sat Vipra Bahuda Vadanti. If you read Rig Veda 3.20.3, many are thy names, O Agni, immortal God divine. Veda. Again, if you go through Rig Veda 6.47.18, Indra moves multiform in his wonderful creation. Again, it is talking about the same God, which is omnipresent and is moving across the universe and making things move across the universe. So, imagine why different planets are moving on their axis. There is some conscious force which have put Earth in its own axis, Sun in its own axis, there is a force F equal to G m1 m2 upon r square. Particular values are given. How can someone create, right? No human being can create such a thing. It is definitely created by some divine power, which we don't know. Coming back to the Dayanand's translation, Dayanand followed sincerely that God is one as mentioned in ancient scripture, and they contain pure and absolute truth. Friends, if you consider what I just explained, that three entities are there and the God is one. There is a soul and primordial matter, and I have 5 properties of God and 3 rules of dharma. With this kind of mindset, if you start interpreting even the worst of the mantras, though there doesn't exist, but if you try to start interpreting worst of the mantras, shlokas, even sentences, you will come out with a totally different kind of interpretation, which will be scientific, which will have full logical reasoning. It will not have some people or the families created like Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh and all that. The words used in classical Sanskrit greatly differ because their meaning from the words used in Vedic language. We should not interpret the Veda taking in view the current sense of the words in ordinary language. That's what Rishi Dayanand's translation basically have. According to Rishi Dayanand, all Vedic words have derivative or etymological sense. Vedic words are not daily usage words and have yogic meaning. So he basically followed the footsteps of all ancient acharyas, rishis, Yasak Muni and all great sages. Dayanand followed the school of the etymologists, that is the Niruktas. Hence he does not believe that the Veda contains narratives or references or to historical personages. Undoubtedly, all descriptions are symbolic and figurative, as Yaskacharya says. You read Nirup 2.16. Tatko vrataha meg iti niruktaha swashtro asur itya itihasikaha. Now here, if someone has a knowledge of modern day Sanskrit, they will say, oh, it is an asur word is used here. This is not what basically this means. Let's see what basically this Nirup 2.16 is communicating. According to Dayanand, Devta means the subject matter of the mantra or a hymn. All words signifying a Devta, example Agni, Vayu, Indra, are the names of one Supreme Lord. There is only one Supreme Being described in the Vedas, and Agni, Vayu, all are basically figurative. They are just the name of the same God. And same is mentioned in Nirup. This matter is really set at rest by the well-known verse of Rig Veda. Indram Mitram Varun Ma Agni Mahuryo Divya Sa Suparno Gurutman. Rig Veda 1.164.46. He is one, sages call him by many names. That is Agni, Yama, Matrasevan. The Yajna even. So here we prove actually from the ancient Hindu or Vedic scriptures that what Dayanand did, or the way he interpreted, he basically followed the original scriptures. What I was able to find in last, I think 3,000 years, there is not even a single sage or acharya or a priest which has basically gone into the Vedas. You can read about Swami Dayanand, Swami Vivekananda. He was able to reach up to Upanishads, and he wanted to drive Hinduism out of Upanishad. So imagine if you are limited to Upanishad, you cannot derive the complete true dharma. Because Upanishads are just the commentaries, right? They are not given by God. They are created by human beings. In order to find the true dharma, you have to go into the Vedas. And only a sage or a person who is of the order of Rishi can go up to the Vedas. That's why Rishi Dayanand was able to reach into the Vedas, and he is called Rishi because he became a Gyata, a person who can realize the meaning of the mantras during meditation. That makes a person as Rishi. The yajna does not mean only a material sacrifice. So many of the people, they consider that yajna or doing havan or a homa is basically a sacrifice that we need to do, or some people also sacrifice an animal. Yajna doesn't have any such relation, like similarly offering things into the fire. Dhyana there is supported by the entire scripture of the Hindus, where it is clearly stated that any noble and unselfish act is called yajna. Shatpat Brahmar clearly states in 1.7.1.5. Yagyo ve shreshta tamam karma. So my friends, what is the best yajna? Is it like putting a fire and burning all the stuff here? No, that is not the best karma. The best karma is, or the best yajna is, if a person performs his actions in the most dharmic way, that is called the best yajna. Which means, if you kill an enemy, or rakshas, or a dasyu, who has created a disturbance in the society, that is the best yajna that anyone can do. Because such a person is destroying the peace on the planet, killing human beings as well as animals, and destroying the environment. So that is the best example of best yajna. Same, this thing was taught by Lord Krishna in the battlefield to Arjuna. So our people, mostly our Hindus, they think ahimsa parmo dharma. But that is totally wrong. Rishi Dayananda defined it. Ahimsa parmo dharma, dharma hinsa tat